so excited to be here with you all tonight. So with this business concept building, I heard a few comments about, many businesses. I heard a few comments about, kind of not being stuck, but finding the time to work in or on your business. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit today. So again, I heard that, some of us have had ideas for business way in, before our adult years. And so when that happens, that's part of the idea stage, of developing a business. And that's when you have that idea of, what you can do. I have an 8-year-old, and her big business idea is to have a drive-through pizzeria. And for an 8-year-old, that is huge, but that's something at 8 years old, she is striving to do. And so for so many of us, we've had these really great ideas, but now it's time to actually implement that idea, to really allow that idea to flourish. And so with this, it includes, what is this business? What is the mission? Why is this so important? And who is doing it similarly? When you look in your industry, who is doing it similarly? And it's not to copy off of that person, but it's really to gain inspiration and motivation of how you can actually implement this idea. Now, how many of you have created your business plan or just wrote down what this idea is on paper? You can raise your hand, you can put it in the chat, but how many of you have actually done that? Okay, awesome. So we have a few folks who've done that. Is it Nisha? Is that how you pronounce your name?
Very good.
Awesome. I hate when people mess up my name. So tell me, how is the process of you creating your business plan?
I just wrote down, I didn't touch my business plan. I'm really excited to write a business plan, to start to write it with Anne, because we're going to be doing that. But what I did was just write down my my goals and my my product. I have formed some healthy, gluten-free or organic products to put together. Gave these 5 samples to trusted people, see how they come out. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. I've had it for like 6 months. I'm just sitting on it. And I didn't get as far as the business plan. I was physically able to put together the lip gloss and the hair oil company. I mean the hair oil idea. So I didn't really do no writing. I'm just really excited to just do something, because only thing I have in my background is film and writing. So I don't know nothing else, but this right here was exciting for me.
Yes.
And,
So basically what they're doing, Ms. Vines, is they're really starting to come up with their concept. They only been in week 1. So some of them have an idea that they have been thinking about for a long time. Some of them have an idea, but haven't really fleshed it out. So they are now working towards doing that. And then next week, they're going to be starting on the business plan. So that's why I was like, this is perfect timing, what you're about to talk about. And I think Cheryl has a quick question. Cheryl, you go ahead. You have a quick question?
Yes, please.
Yes,
follow up with Mrs. Austin is saying, I don't know how to start the business plan.
We're going to be doing that. We're definitely going to be doing that.
That's a good question.
So don't even worry about that part. I'm going to make sure everybody knows how to do the business plan.
I don't even know how to. I don't even know how to. That's why I'm here. But I know I want to do it. Thank you.
Anne's here for.
Absolutely. And see, that is the beautiful thing about being a part of this group, is that you have Anne that will guide you and direct you, and also give you the wisdom on what needs to be included in your business plan. But it's so important for you to have the idea written down.
Yeah.
Because when you have the idea written down, when it comes time for your business plan, you know exactly what needs to be included, what needs to go where, because you already taken it out of here and put it on paper. And a lot of times when you put things on paper, things start to make sense for you, because you start writing it out and you're like, oh, I have this idea. Oh, and this will be great with it. Oh, and this will be great with it. And when it comes time for you to create that business plan, it makes life so much easier. So I truly encourage everyone, even if it's just to write a sentence, write that down. And then between now and next week, when you meet with Ann again, start brainstorming. What does this look like? What could it look like? Why is this so important to me? That's a really important question. Why is this idea so important to me? What is the impact it's going to make? And then also, who in the industry, who in the area that I'm in, that's maybe, like Nisha, maybe, there's someone who is creating natural products. What are they doing? What is it that they're doing that I'm going to be doing different that sets me apart? Write it down, brainstorm. A lot of times when you watch commercials or when you're watching TV, you'll see something and you're like, oh, I thought of the same thing. Write it down. Write it down. And when it comes time for you to create your business plan, you have all these thoughts together in one place, and it makes writing so much more easier. So I encourage you to definitely do that. And when you're looking at what your industry calls for, so like for myself, the industry that I belong in is training and development, employee development, and learning and development. They're all the same, but different. And so in this industry, I'm constantly looking, okay, what books are being written? What conferences are being held, and what's being spoken at or taught at these conferences? What certifications are coming up, or what's being updated? What's a new trend in career development? And so with that, I have an idea of, okay, what do I need to be doing? How does this idea that I have in my head impact what the industry is doing? How can I make a difference? But I encourage you, write it down. If you have a notebook, dedicate one notebook to your business. And trust me, months down the road, years down the road, you're going to have like 50,000 notebooks. But one notebook to start off with, where you can just write your ideas down and you can take it with you. Even if
you said a key word there, guys. When you said write it down, one thing I want to hone in on, because I'm a workforce development person too. A lot of times we do this when we want jobs. Yes. But we don't do this when we want a business. Think about how many times you've written down all the different type of things you could do on a job or for a job. Because, everybody mindset is, I'm going to work for somebody, I'm going to get paid, I'm going to pay my bills, I'm going to get a car, I'm going to buy some clothes, I'm going to do this, do that. You got to have the same mentality about your business. I want to have a business. I want to have a storefront. I want to make money. I want to do this. I want to do that. It has to be a plan that you're sort of just taking out of your brain and putting it on that paper. That's the most important part, because when you see it on paper, that's when the realization starts coming in. That's when it starts to become real, because now you can put some action behind it. Right. Absolutely. So I wanted to kind of hone on that point. That was a very good point.
Absolutely. I can't even tell you how many things I have in my office that are whiteboards, and I'm constantly writing things down. Or y'all, I have notebooks everywhere. I have notebooks everywhere, and they all are like ideas, services, they all are separated. But when something comes to me, I will write it down. And just like Ann said, you can expound on things when you've written it down and you see it. It's something about writing it down and making the vision plain. When you can do that, it makes creating and implementing so much more easier. And so we talked about that idea, you know, and all of us have an idea of what we can do in our business, services, products, so forth. But what about actually building the business? What does this include? And so what this is the startup phase. And there's so many different life cycles in businesses. And so you have your idea, that's one part of the cycle. And then you have the startup. And this is where a lot of us spend a lot of time because we're forming our business and we're making it legal. And so when you're forming your business, you have to identify what is it that I'm actually doing? What am I doing? And then how am I going to pay for all of the stuff that I have to do? You know, just like Nisha, like for you, you have to buy products, you know, maybe it's containers that you have to purchase, you know, for your products. You have to buy, you know, maybe labels. There's so many things that you have to purchase in order for you to sell your product. And so it's now identifying that funding. Where's that funding coming from? And then, as you guys all know, just like in your jobs, just like in your 9-to-5s, just like in any organization you belong to, there's so many people playing a part in building the vision.
Yep.
So many people building that vision, and you need that. So as a business owner, yes, there's going to be a time where we're going to do things by ourselves, but that's not going to be always. It can't be that always, because in order for you to grow and to truly achieve the idea that you have to build a team. So there are 3 main business formations. So you have your limited liability company, which is an LLC, as you've, I'm pretty sure heard people say or use. I actually have an LLC, and it's a flexible schedule. There are state compliance requirements. So every state has a different requirement. Taxes are paid by the company, and you have the flexibility to raise capital, which is important. We're going to get into that. Then you have the C Corp, or your corporation. And this is for mainly nonprofits, charitable organizations, but there are some for-profit organizations that are C Corp. And so this is, it's not that complex, but it is a single entity owned by some type of charity. And then you have your S Corp, your corporation, where honestly, this will allow, you can have so many people in an S Corp, and this S Corp can pass corporate income, losses, deductions, and credits to shareholders. So you can have different people in your business, and you all are responsible for the income, the losses, the deductions, and the credits of this particular business. So it's truly amazing of how many ways you can create a business or form your business. So just keep that in mind when you're going through the process of, what does this look like? What does this look like? And so I mentioned before funding and how we have to identify funding. And so there's so many ways that we can fund our business. We can fund it by the famous and the most sought after, which is bootstrapping. And bootstrapping is honestly taking money from your savings account, or maybe using a percentage from your paycheck to, pay for certain things in your business, your marketing, your coaching, your masterminds, what your team. Bootstrapping, that is the I guess technical word for going into your personal account and funding your business, bootstrapping. And then you can also use your friends and family. Instead of a birthday gift, hey, can you support my business? Here's my account number. Can you put some money into my business account? crowdfunding, and this is raising money. Now, I'm sure so many of us have heard of not maybe the term of crowdfunding, but we've heard of people raising money. And so, if any of us have kids, you know that there's fundraisers every day. Literally, I feel like there's a fundraiser every single day. That's crowdfunding. We can raise money for our business. And then another thing, which I truly encourage, and I know Ann is going to talk about this later down the road, is free money, grants. I can't tell you how many grants are out there in the world. There are so many grants for so many different people, for so many different backgrounds, for so many different industries, for so many different amounts of money. You can get a grant for $500 for technology, for you to build or to, purchase technology, laptop, printer, scanner, all those things, even to the point of having a grant to hire employees. There are so many opportunities for you to obtain a free money. And I know that all of us would love free money to support our business. And so I know Anna's going to get into this later, but definitely pay attention to the grants, because grants come and they go. They come and they go. And it's so important for you to, as soon as you see it, grab it. The other is
question, please. Thank you for taking your time.
Yes.
How we can get access, grants? What is the way to get there? Because I have no idea. If you can share your experience, I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I truly encourage you to do is to get in touch with your small business development center. So every county and every state should have a small business development center. And this center is just for you. It is just for you. And it allows you to gain access to those resources. You have someone that's dedicated to say, hey, these are some resources that are happening in your county, in your state, for your nationality, for your religion, for your industry. But that's a first resource to go to.
Even for nonprofit organization?
The Small Business Development Center is for any type of business.
Okay.
So whether it's an LLC or a nonprofit, you can go to them and ask them for those resources. And access to the resources is free. It is completely free.
Thank you.
And another way that you can gain grants or learn about the grants is by networking. Now, I'm pretty sure all of us have heard that technology or that terminology, but networking is the number one way to learn how to get things done in your business, because someone has done it before. And there's at least one person who can share how they were able to do it. So for me, I belong to several professional organizations. One of them is the International Association of Women. I wanted a professional organization that I could go to, that could give me some resources, that I could, have a support community. And so that's one professional organization. And another one related to my industry is the National Career Development Association. Again, this is related to my industry. And so being a member of this organization, I'm able to get emails, to get newsletters, to go to conferences, and to hear what grants are available. And I receive the links to those grants to apply to. I can receive grant writing help. So someone can actually help me write those grants, the application, so I can receive it or have a better chance of receiving it. So I strongly encourage you, 3 things. Go to your Small Business Development Center.
Okay.
join a professional networking organization, of just a professional. If it's something men's something, go to that. You know, a professional organization where you can have a community of support, but also you can have a community where you gain resources. And then go to a organization within your industry. So again, I gave the example of me being a part of the National Career Development Association because it's part of the industry I belong in. But for you, think about what is the industry? If you're going to be a coach, if you're going to be some type of educator, you're going to be in the professional services industry. That includes financial, financial accounting, taxes, all of that good stuff. That's professional services. Then you have others, other services. Oh my goodness, you have technology, you have law enforcement. There's so many industries out there. So really determine what industry you want to be in, and then find an organization within industry that will allow you to have the resources at your fingertips, but also give you the supportive community you need to grow your business.
Right.
Okay.
So I hope that was helpful.
Yes,
Oh,
thank
that
you
was
very
very
much.
helpful.
Thank you, thank you.
I'm glad you gave that. I want to hone in on
I have a couple of
because
questions.
we all gonna cover this.
Hello.
Yes.
Hang on just a second. So
What are the
we're going to
similarities?
cover this also as well. So one of the other
What are the similarities between crowdfunding and angel investors and venture capitalists? And what are the differences?
Okay, so let me just stop you right there. Okay, so the point that I was about to make, Mr. Praxis, what leads into the venture capitalists.
I can hear.
Those type of questions when it comes to finance is actually going to be answered by Ken Alazier, who's going to be here at some point to talk about financing. He is the person that you want to ask about venture capitalists, angel investors, underwriters, banks, any type of credit. Those are the type of questions that he is going to answer. What I will say in terms of grants to Mr. Desta's question is that even before you go to the Small Business Development Center, the SBA, or even other associations, the number one thing you're going to have to do is be able to write a proposal. You have to write a proposal. You're going to have to be able to really persuade that information in that proposal or your business plan or some sort of pitch deck about what service or community that you're serving for those grant funds. If they're not understanding what it is that you are providing to the community, you are not going to get any money. So one of the things we're going to talk about in this class is developing strong writing skills. That starts with the business plan that you guys are going to start writing. So when I start saying, I need you to write incomplete sentences, I need you to put out your complete thoughts so that I can help you write it. I can't help you write it if I get bullet points or if I get very short answers. If you get stuck, that's when you need to contact me and say, hey, Ann, I'm trying to figure out how to word what I'm trying to say in the business plan. That's what you want to do. But as far as any angels investors, it all stems from your business pitch or your business plan or your proposal or your RFP or whatever response. Okay, yes, Cheryl, real quick, and we're going to move on to the next slide. Go ahead, Cheryl.
Oh,
well, the young lady that was speaking, is she gonna be? Can we get her information? Like, can she post? Like,
Yeah, you'll have her information.
She did say something about she has about the Women's Association Foundation or something like that of that nature. I'm a woman, and that's good. Like,
well, I'll put it in the chat window, and I'll make sure everybody gets it in the class.
Yeah, because she's really smart, like, and she's good. Like, I like her.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to keep it moving. Mr. Praxis, I think you have one more question.
yeah, I have a couple more.
Okay, go ahead.
All these sources are all on the internet, or are like crowdfunding and angel investors and venture capital. Are there websites?
Actually, you can just Google. If you just Google angel investors, you'll see a lot of stuff come up. venture capital. You'll see all of that. If you type in funding options for your business or business funding, you'll be on overwhelm of all the stuff that's out there. But what I encourage you to do, just like what Ann said, again, it starts from your idea. What is it that you want to do in your business? And then again, your why. What is your mission? What is the purpose? What is the intention of your business? And then what is the impact that you are making in the industry, in the world, to the people that you're serving? What is the impact? And when you can answer those things, you will have a better idea of the funding you need. And so, like Ann said, the person that's coming who is has better knowledge than I do about this, they'll be able to break this down. For me, I've used grants, I've used bootstrapping, friends and family, and that's helped me fund my business. I have not gone into the angel investors or venture capitals, VCs, or loans, because for me, and this is just me, I solely want to make sure I know what I'm doing before I have somebody else investing in my company. But that's just me, and that's what I want to do. But for you, it might be something different. But again, it's understanding your why, your intention, your purpose of your business, and being able to articulate to yourself, because you have to articulate to yourself first that this is for you and you can make the impact. And when you can articulate to yourself and then you can share it with other people, now folks will come in to support you financially, physically, and so forth. But these are just a few examples of how you can have funding for your business.
Right. So, Mr. Praxis, to answer your other question,
Yeah,
angel investors and venture capitalists, their primary mission is to make a return of investment on the investment of your business. Angel investors typically will help startups with lower amounts of money, maybe 50,000, versus venture capitalists. They're looking to do like mergers and acquisitions. They're looking to swallow you into either their business or another business to create something new. And their return of investment is a whole lot larger. So whichever one that you're able to get funding from, they will be asking for a portion of ownership of your business, either through being a partner or being a part owner, or maybe if you're a C Corp and you're a corporation that has an actual board that has stocks, they want to have stock or some sort of way of getting some sort of profit from your business, because the whole idea of investing in you is to grow your business and scale it to the point where they are making lots and lots of profits. It all depends on what size angel investor that you get, depending on what size venture capital that you want to get. But most of that stuff can be definitely like deep dive into when Ken Alazier comes on here and he starts talking about what his company does in terms of angel investors and venture capitalists. Then yeah, you can go crazy with all the questions, because he will tell you exactly what they think and feel about how they're going to lend to you. And then as far as the bank's concerned, they have a totally different mindset altogether. They half the time they don't even want to lend to very small businesses unless you have already made a substantial amount of money in the business and have a substantial amount of time. So Ken would definitely handle like all three of those areas, because he's the one that actually lives and breathes stuff every single day. And so I think you should do that. And then we can keep going with the slides, because I really want to get into business entities tonight, so that this all like makes sense. What Ms. Vine is telling you and what I'm telling you is going to all like meld together.
Absolutely.
Great questions too, Praxis.
Yes, great questions. I will give you one tip. Watch Shark Tank. If you've never watched Shark Tank before, watch it, and you will see what venture capital is. You will firsthand look. So you can catch it on YouTube. You can catch Shark Tank anywhere. Previous episodes, new episodes, watch Shark Tank, and you'll get a clear understanding. and it'll feel like you're in the room with them. I love Shark Tank.
A quick question. How about crowdfunding? What do the crowdfunders want, or how do they participate?
So this is you creating a fundraiser. So let's say, I'm just going to use this example. You're selling chocolate. So your fundraiser is, I'm going to sell chocolate, and your proceeds are going to come to my company. That's what raising money is. So it's providing some type of product to consumers to raise that money for your business.
Yeah, you're kind of like with crowdfunding, like she said, it's like a fundraiser tool. So you can sell a product and actually solicit people who you know to buy the product, or you can put it on social media and ask people to support you for your product by going to like a GoFundMe or some other platform that you do. It's strictly friends, family, their friends, their family, whoever that you can crowd to that platform to help buy your product or to help support your business. If it's a nonprofit, like I did one when my granddaughter Marina, she's 10 now. I did it when she was 3. She had a speech impediment, and I did a GoFundMe, and I raised money so that I can pay for her speech therapy classes. And it actually worked out because now I can't shut her up, right? So she talks beautifully now, right? So it's when you want to crowd people to a platform to either buy your product or support your cause. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next one.
One more question.
This one is real deep. No, Mr. Parsons, I gotta stop you right there. We're gonna get through this thing. Go ahead.
Is the women's association exclusively for women, or men also can participate or join?
So the International Association of Women is strictly for women, but there are so many organizations that are for men. So many. When I say so many, I would encourage you to look on LinkedIn to see what organizations are out there, because they all have a page on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. The Chamber of Commerce, which I put in the chat room, is the number one. They have a Montgomery County, a Prince George's County Chamber of Commerce. They have DC. They have all different types. You should look up Chamber of Commerce, and it's actually a membership based on your employee. So if you have 0 to like 100 employees, it might be $500 for the year, but you get to go to their activities, you get to go to their conferences, you get to meet all the members, you get to be on their website, you get to kind of like network with all those people. But Chamber of Commerce is the number one organization where almost any and every small business is a part of.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Great questions.
Great questions. Yes.
Really great questions. And so, we talked about the formation, we talked about funding, and now teamwork. And we all heard the terminology, teamwork makes the dream work. And so when you have a team, they share responsibility to grow your vision, honestly. And so you have various roles. You have the visionary, which is yourself. And then, individuals who are in charge of marketing and sales, operations management. So they're managing the operation of your business, because as a CEO, because that's what we are, we're not operating our business. We're the visionary. We're the ones that are coming up with the ideas, and we have people who are actually developing them and implementing them. And then we have a financial management team, and those are individuals who are doing our accounting, checking our books, making sure our clients are paying their invoices and things like that. And you can fill these roles. Again, most of us are bootstrapping, so we are paying for this out of our own pockets. Fiverr and Upwork have freelancers that allow you the opportunity to give them work for, I'd like to not, $5-7 at minimum. You need someone to research something for you, someone on Fiverr can do it for $7. There's so many resources for us as CEOs to gain the resources or gain the people for us to grow our vision. So we have Fiverr, we have Upwork, we have interns. This is the best season to have interns because summer is approaching. And so interns are your high school or your college students who need credit hours for their diploma, for their high school diploma, or for their degree. And so those interns can do work for you for free, for free. I have faithfully used interns, and I have the same interns returning to me every single year for the last 3 years that I've used interns. They are wonderful to have as part of your team and to help you going when you do not have the budget right now. So that's another way that you can have folks help you. And then your family and friends, someone that you may go to church with, someone in your neighborhood, you know, a cousin that may not be working right now, but they have a skill set that they could use and they need the volunteer experience to show on their resume. Have them work for you. Give them a few hours of work a week. Have them work on some projects, and your dream is coming true. And then the next stage is growth. We're not here yet, but in the next few months, this is the stage where we want to aim to go to, where we have our financial goal set, we have our product and service goal set. What products, physical products are we going to sell? What digital products are we going to sell? What services are we going to provide to that community that we serve? And then how are we going to sustain profit? How are we going to make money? That's important. How are we going to make money? And so as you, again, have that idea, you write the plan, and then the growth is your action. What are you going to be doing on a continuous basis to have the funds, to have the profit? So real quick, I want you as CEOs, sometimes, and I know I heard someone mention that they had a loss in their family. I do apologize for that. And things happen. Things happen when we're growing our businesses. One of the things we have to ask ourselves is, what is going to keep me going? How am I going to keep going? How am I going to keep going? Listen, for 2 years, I had my kids home and trying to run a business. And I have 4 kids ranging from 10 years old to 4 years old. And I'm running a business while also teaching my 4 kids. Talk about motivation. It was tough, but I had to change my mindset. And I believe a young lady was talking about that earlier. We have to change our mindset. As CEOs, we're building. We are building something and we're creating legacy. And so with that, we have to have habits. Create habits that allow us to have that accountability to ourselves to get things done. And then also look around and see what we're listening to. I honestly, and I told a few people that, you know, I grew up in the 90s. I love 90s stuff, TV shows, music, all of it. One of the, and I grew up with cops. So all I know is law enforcement. And so one of my favorite shows is In the Heat of the Night. Favorite show. Watched it in the late 80s, 90s, love it. Love William Carroll, like love it. But I had to stop watching it. I was, you know, watching reruns, but I had to stop watching it because in my mind, I started to realize, wow, this show was in the late 80s, 90s. And then when we go back to the movie with Sidney Poitier, it was even earlier than that, when times were different, where women were not entrepreneurs, when, you know, men were very restrictive in their thinking, women were restrictive in their thinking. I can't listen to that anymore. And that may seem very small to some, but for me, it was very big because I had to change my mindset to say, I'm doing big things. And so I can no longer listen to or see things where ideas and mindsets were very restrictive. And so that's just a small example, but I had to let go of watching reruns every single day of In the Heat of the Night because I had to change my mindset. I want to do big things. I want to grow. I want to go here. I want to go here and meet these individuals. but I can't continue to watch things that keep me limited. And so I encourage you that you also have to examine who you're talking to. What are you watching? What are you listening to? For me, I listen to inspirational messages every single morning. And I'm sure all of us have heard of Clubhouse. I just joined Clubhouse as an Android user. I know I'm like 2 years late, but there are so many inspirational rooms on Clubhouse that I now belong to. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I'm in there listening to motivation, and then I'm done. But I'm changing my mindset because I want to grow. I want to do big things. And so I have to listen and change what I'm thinking so that I can believe that I'm going to do big things. So I encourage you to do the same. So as I wrap up, I just want you to remember, create habits, your mindset, your motivation every single day that will prompt you to take this idea that you have, this business you have, and make it big. Have a support system. So if that's gaining, going to these organizations and having that support, have your support with Ann and everyone here. Be a part of an accountability program, which is right here with Ann. Track your progress. So with Ann, you're going to create your business plan, but also track what you're doing. In that same notebook you have for your business, how are you doing? Check in with yourself. Check in with Ann. I know Ann is going to check in with you to say, hey, what are you doing? How are things going? Track your progress. And then use your favorite planner. Have a planner where you can write things down. You can break down your goals, break down what this idea is, put it in your planner of what you're going to do every single day. And then my favorite thing is to use a project management tool. You do not have to go to Microsoft Project, but there is Google, there is Excel, there's Microsoft Word. And in this, you can just track what you were doing in your business. Just what are you doing? Okay, this month in May, I need to write my business plan. And I'm going to have these classes with Ann. Write that down in an Excel spreadsheet and then go back. Did I go to the classes with Ann? Did I write my business plan? Has Ann looked at my business plan? Has she had any comments to my business plan? Have I checked those or made those edits and updates? And have I given it back to her to review? Have some type of tool where you can manage what you are doing in your business. And as Walt Disney has always said, if you can dream it, you can do it. So I thank you all for having me with you tonight. I appreciate you, and I hope this was helpful as you start to build your business.
It was absolutely helpful. Thank you so much, Ms. Vines. Thank you so much. I really liked everything you said. And the last thing is that nothing will happen unless you put action behind it. You can write it down, you can dream it, you can talk to somebody about it, but talk is cheap, action speaks. You got to put action. If you write it down, you should be having some goals toward that action, toward that goal so that you can achieve it. That's really the bottom line. That's how business owners stay in business. That's how they start. That's how they get out there. And they really put that onus and accountability on themselves. They're not blaming anybody else. They're not waiting on anybody else. They're doing what they have to do to make it happen. And if this is your dream, then the responsibility is on yourself. Take advantage of all the resources, guys. It is here for you. It's in the classroom, Ms. Vines. I'm gonna make sure are you gonna let them have these slides or?
Yes, I will send them to you.
Yeah, I'll post it on here. I'll also recorded this session for anybody that missed anything, you want to recapture anything. I want to make sure you have access to this video so that you can rewatch it over and over again, because I don't want you guys to miss anything. And if you have missed anything, just especially when the presenters, I think this year I'm just going to go ahead and just record every single one. And I do have some on my website, but thank you so much, Ms. Vines, for coming on here. You just fit right into one of the students. That lets you know what's going on with me, right?
One final question, please. I have a final question for Ms. Latika.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Desta. And then Cheryl.
Where we can meet, the intern intern? Do you have any idea?
Yes. So I have used Indeed.
Indeed.
Yes, Indeed is kind of like your recruiter, your Zip Recruiter, things like that, that type of website. But Indeed, you can they actually have templates, position description templates that you can use. But I would say if you're going to use that site, make sure you mention that this is a non-paid internship. Make sure you mention that and then specify how long you want this internship. Yes, volunteermatch.com. A lot of charitable organizations use volunteermatch.com, but absolutely, if you're an LLC, use that too. It's available. And you can also make a post on Facebook or on LinkedIn. You can, yes, schools, high
Oh my God,
schools.
those are the best ones. So like if you have 11, if you know what
Yes.
schools, they always have 11th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders who
Yep.
need graduation points for
They
community
do.
service.
Mhm.
All you have to do is just go to the school and tell them you have an event, that you need some students to volunteer for graduation points. A lot of them need at least 24 points to
Mhm.
graduate by the time they hit middle school, or well, by the time they graduate, but they tell them at middle school that they got 24 points to make up. You can give them 8 hours, and all you have to do is fill out a form and sign it that they did the 8 hours, and you
Yep.
have an intern for the day. I used them interns before I lost my office at COVID, and I can tell you it was so much help having someone answer my phone and somebody doing something else while I focused on the other stuff. And to have an intern, you can still pay them something if you want to. You can still pay them minimum wage, but just having an intern for a short period of time makes all the difference in the world.
Yes.
All the difference in the world.
Love
Absolutely.
it.
Yes. So you have a
Thank
question.
you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Absolutely.
Can I ask you about the interns?
What about the interns?
What kind of work do they do?
Any kind of work you want them to do.
Any.
So like in your case, if you want them to help you with your food truck by cutting potatoes, onions, if you need them to help prep food, if you need them to set up the table so that you can sell the food, if you need them to help you find venues where you can actually go and do a pop-up for your food truck, those interns will get on the phone, they will make sales for you, they will, whatever task that you have to help, they will do it.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, because they want the experience, and you want to find interns that are in your industry. So like if you're finding someone who wants to be in the restaurant industry, but they need experience dealing with food prep or dealing with customers and food, that's a great way to introduce them, because you have a food truck, you're dealing with customers, and that leads to further wanting to go to culinary school or maybe get another food truck.
Yep.
Or they just might just want to cook and just cater, it's really putting them in the industry in which they want to work. It happens all the time. Law firms do it all the time. They go and they find the best students and they put them in there and teach them how to do law, and they offer them $150,000, and then the best ones get hired.
Yeah.
It works. It's phenomenal. Cheryl, what's your question?
Thanks so much.
So you've mentioned you said that it's good for us to join some organizations. You mentioned the Washington Association of Women and the National Career Development Association. So while you guys was talking, I was doing some looking for the websites, and I couldn't find any. So do you have any websites?
Yes. So I'm going to put the women in the chat, and then the national, I think there's National Career Development Association.org.
Yeah, if you want to give me like the links, I will post that along with your slides and your contact information.
Okay.
So that everybody can have the links, and then you can check them out. And then I'll also post in there the Chamber of Commerce in there that you can look up, the Small Business Administration for grants or other funding, because they don't give out money, but they have banks and they have relationships with other organizations that give out money and grants. And as far as these grants concerned, again, time management, these grants are only out here because of COVID. It is not going to be long before regular for-profit grants are out the door. So if you're not ready to like get this money, you better be and start getting on it, because I think in the next year or two, some of these grants are going to be gone. But the grants for the for-profit will still be out.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll make sure you get that, Cheryl, okay?
Yeah, I have you, Miss Ann. You know I'm gonna hold on to you, girl. You're awesome. But no, I'm just saying
So
it's the
cute.
more the merrier. And then just to network, especially with
Yes.
being around women. And then what I want to do, I want to help single mothers become homeowners. And I want to
Absolutely.
help them build credit and build generational wealth. So that's my goal. And what I feel like I want to do and help, families, but that's my goal and my purpose. I feel like here on earth, I don't know, but let's see. But to be around other women, and then women that look like me, and I've been trying to become a homeowner, and I've been dogged, and I've been just through a lot, and I'm still have faith, and I'm still believing, I still keep it going. And I just want to help encourage other women that we can do it. We can create generational wealth. Our kids can be wealthy, like just encouraging to each other. So that's why I was interested.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. So at this time, what we're going to do is we're going to take a few minute break so everybody can kind of like digest information a little bit. And then we're going to come in and we're going to get right into entities. Ms. Vaughn, if you want to stick around, you're happy to do so. But we'll come back in about a few minutes and we're going to really talk about the differences of the different entities and the different tax obligations that you'll be responsible for should you choose one of them. Okay, so we're going to be starting in the book on page 15 when we come back.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thank you, young lady.
Thank you. Thank you. Really, we appreciate your help. Thank you for taking your time.